Mothra, Mothra.
Hey everybody, it is day 28 of this 31 and 31 Kaijufest, and today it is Godzilla Tokyo S.O.S. And this movie has had that goddamn Rihanna song stuck in my head every time I think about the title of the goddamn movie. It sucks. I don't know why. So this is a direct continuation, if I can say the word, of Godzilla Against Mechagodzilla. And so even though it's a direct continuation, it truly is its own. Like, I thought it was going to be like a sequel in terms of, hey, everybody's back, Makane's back, and she's going to be kicking ass in the Mechagodzilla because Godzilla shows up again. But no, it's a whole new crew. Like, they just basically, well, it's kind of a whole new crew. Now, what I didn't mention in the last review, because I guess I didn't think about it at the time I was doing it, the guy that plays the Prime Minister was in, like, every single one of the Godzillas from the 1980s. All the way up until the right before Godzilla 2000, so the last one of the 80s. Literally is in every one of the films. I don't know the actor's name off the top, but maybe it's going to flash up over here or something like that. But he is the Prime Minister. He's back, still doing the same thing. But the surprising person who came back in this movie was the lead actor from Mothra. They have this big reveal of, you know, we get to meet the two major characters, well, the one major character who's a mechanic on Mechagodzilla, and all of a sudden he's like, Grandpa, and then you go and he's reading a paper, and then it's like this big reveal. I'm like, well, who the fuck is that? And then when Mothra, it actually starts with Mothra flying in. So when the two fairies, or the infants from Infant Island, show up, the little girls, you know, little chibi girls, they show up, and they say, hey, you remember us? And he's like, oh yeah, I do. And then I'm like, what? They connected Mothra to this, like, reboot. Like, they did it kind of in the first one. You kind of got a glimpse of Mothra in it. But this one really, like, connects the two. Because that guy was the guy that went to Infant Island way back in the day. And actually is the one that saved the two girls from being captured by the guy. It's absolutely nuts. So they basically give a proposition to him saying that, hey, you need to return Godzilla's bones to the ocean, and Mothra will be your protector. If you don't do that, then Mothra's going to go and fuck up your city. Just like they did, or she did, when she went to save those two. So he goes and he talks to the Prime Minister to basically get them to not, to give up the Godzilla project, the Mechagodzilla project. But at the same time, you have this guy, he's a mechanic who's his nephew, and that guy, he just wants to use the Mechagodzilla to destroy Godzilla. He can't fly it, but he's the one that's been working on it forever for the last 4 years. If he's been working on it for the last 4 years, where the fuck was he in the last movie? Didn't fucking exist, but I guess they didn't want to focus on the mechanics for that one. They want to focus on what's-her-face and, like, dealing with the fact that she killed a bunch of people and that she needs to beat Godzilla. So it's kind of neat when Godzilla shows up. He still has the chest damage from when he fought Mechagodzilla last. What kind of sucks is I think they reused, like, him coming out of the ocean. Like, it's almost the exact same scene when he comes out of the water, when you first see him for the first time. And honestly, this movie has a really good runtime of an hour and a half, so you get a lot of the bullshit out of the way quickly, and you go right into the action. And the first set of action is Mothra actually fighting Godzilla. See, the nephew or grandson, or whatever his name is, Shun, he realizes that maybe he can call Mothra when Godzilla attacks the city, and he makes the Mothra symbol, you know, that cross with all the little things coming out of it. And so he does that out of desks. How he finds the time to make that thing, I don't know, because Godzilla is destroying the city and attacking, and being attacked by the Japanese military, but at the same time, it's like, you have enough time to put all those desks in the correct order for the, you know, the damn symbol to bring her there. So she does come, she fights Godzilla. At the same time, she's laid an egg, so she has Godzilla or Mothra larva, not Godzilla, oh my god, I can't fucking talk today, but she's got her Mothra larva basically in the back. She starts using techniques that she would use when she's at the end of her life. It's actually kind of cool in one scene, she's blowing all, like, what they call her scales, but it's all the gold dust out, and she's doing that, and then Godzilla goes to fire his atomic breath, and it catches all that on fire. But he eventually does beat her down. The two larvae are born, and then Mechagodzilla is called in for one final battle. against Godzilla. So they do fight, but eventually Mechagodzilla, he kind of breaks down. He gets blasted in the face. The fight actually before the last fight is probably the best fight out of the two of them. It's actually highly entertaining. But the second half, I don't know, it just felt a little boring to me. I wish it could have been a little better. But he does, fight, eventually gets knocked out, and then the larvae come to the rescue. Mothra also saves him at one point from being totally destroyed, but she's basically incapacitated. The larvae come in, and they start, trying to do what... Basically, it's weird. When the larvae show up, it kind of is a repeat of Mothra versus Godzilla. Like, they hide, they do the sniping thing, try to cover him in the cocoon web, and all that stuff. Like, I don't know if it's an homage, or they just thought it would be cool if they did this again, or, larval bugs really can't do much more than shoot web. I don't know, but I was hoping for a little bit more when it came to them showing up, but it's not really going to be that way. So we have them fight, and eventually Godzilla is going to destroy them, the two larval. They come over and they chat with Mothra. Basically, she's on her deathbed. She's probably telling them, look, I'll always be with you. And then Godzilla goes and shoots his atomic breath, and she gets up the last minute and blocks the whole thing, and basically gets blasted into fucking dust. I really enjoyed that scene, not because Mothra died, but because I thought it actually looked really good. And Mothra, I can say, like, just for a second, I mean, it's beautiful. She looks great. That is, like, her design I've always really liked, but in this film, she is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know what it is. I just was really impressed. Like, they have just one scene of her flying just straight up, and it looks great. Like, the way that they did her wings, all the other stuff. It's fantastic. So, I don't want to gush too much about Mothra, but, the whole thing comes down to, there's one last fight. Mechagodzilla wins. They cover her in the dust, and, well, the webbing, and Godzilla in the webbing, not her, not Mothra. I am jumbling a little bit. They cover Godzilla in all the webbing, and then they want to do one last attack on him. There's actually a really cool scene where Mechagodzilla turns his hand into like a drill and stabs Godzilla, and then drills right through, his flesh. And that's what knocks him over, so they can be covered in the web. So the last scene is Kiryu has his own life. Like, they told him, bury the damn bones in the sea. And so he grabs Godzilla and he flies off. Our main protagonist, he came and actually fixed Mechagodzilla while it was broken in the field, because the pilot can't fix it, but damn it, the mechanic that's been working on it for the last 4 years surely can. And all he has to do is do like a couple wires or some shit like that, and then it's fucking fixed. It's ridiculous. It's actually really, really quick and really, really easy fix. We're like, we don't think we can do it, but guess what? You can. So he can't get out. Mechagodzilla, his friend pilot that is interested in him, goes to save him, blows open the hatch. Mechagodzilla turns over and dumps him out of there. But the last thing before he goes, which is fucking cheesy as all hell, is the screen flashes sayonara and then the guy's name. And it's like, what? Like, okay, so now Mechagodzilla is talking to him through binary, through zeros and ones? Fucking stupid. So he gets let free. Mechagodzilla takes Godzilla into the giant Japanese trench, and the movie's over. So it's a relatively entertaining movie once the kaiju stuff happens. And like I said, the running time actually helps it a lot, because if I had to deal more with the human stuff in this movie, I'd probably hate this movie a lot more. But I think it's just an average Godzilla film. I think most of the 2000s have been pretty good. And the next one is by far my second favorite Godzilla. Well, maybe it might be my third now, because I didn't realize how good the Ghidorah one was from this generation. So I give this one an average, just a 3 out of 5. It's entertaining enough if you've never seen it to watch it, because it has a good runtime. But the next Godzilla film, man, this thing is what everybody really wanted out of a more modern day Godzilla. So that's it for today's 31 and 31, and we will see you tomorrow with Godzilla Final Wars.